All right, so it is the spooky season. The spooky season is upon us once again. So today we're going to bring you a whole host of terrifying things. We have compiled our lists of our favourite vampires and werewolves, and we're going to try and narrow them down to our top 5 of each. So these are across all sort of medias, I would say.
Yeah.
No sort of genre specific. Some I'm sure you'll agree with, some you might not.
You definitely won't.
This is our list, and what we say is law, so suck it up. Okay, shall we kick off with the vampires?
Of course, I'm always down for kicking off with vampires.
Kicking it back with the vampires. Okay, so who have you got in your list?
Well, speaking of things that people aren't going to agree with, I'm just going
It's
to...
Edward Cullen, ladies and gentlemen.
I put the Cullens in general.
Oh, the whole family?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like to judge. I mean, he's my favourite, obviously. This is, I'm guessing a lot of people will have turned this off by now, because I've just said that.
Stay with us, guys. It gets better, I promise.
It does. I was going to finish off with this, but I figured get it out of the way.
Like a Band-Aid.
Yeah. I love them. You know I'm a massive Twilight fan. And it is impossible to discuss the notion of vampires in the media without bringing Twilight into the discussion, because it irrevocably changed how vampires were depicted. It created new lore behind them. I mean, you know, they're made up, you can say what you want about them, but it has brought this whole different twist on vampires. It brought a whole new generation into vampires and what they enjoy, and I just love handsome, pretty, pining people. Thoughts? I know you love it too.
I think love is a strong word. Alright, that's fine. I really liked what you said about the fact that they're made up so you can do whatever you want, and I think that's a really interesting point, because of course that's true. But we sort of just go along with what was written for like the traditional, you know, Dracula type vampire, and we've applied that to them since then, and it's been a long time. I think there's been some really good iterations that definitely. We have seen that have started to change things, but like I think you're right, in the sort of such a mainstream media kind of way, they are sort of a big change from the norm.
And it's very much, they're very much the one end of the spectrum compared to like Nosferatu, the Salem's Lot of vampires. You've got the really grotesque looking vampires, then you've got
the animals,
sexy vulva driving vampires.
And these are like the millennial vampires. Like these are fully evolved human beings essentially, who just happen to be shiny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think, thanks to their cultural impact, their twist on the genre, and their damn fine jawlines, they're on my list.
I will allow it. Right.
If I make it sound like intellectual,
like you were so impassioned, I couldn't have said no. So, okay.
Go on.
What else have you got?
I was going to go 1 for 1.
Oh, 1 for 1? Okay. Well, I'm going with my number 1, who is Stuart Townsend's version of Lestat from Queen of the Damned.
Okay. Elaborate.
Yep.
Not who I would have thought you'd have gone for from Queen of the Damned, but...
Did you see them trousers?
Sold.
I mean, sold. Job done. Queen of the Damned, I saw before Interview with the Vampire. It was just right in the middle of like the more goth of my sort of like goth phase, which didn't last very long. I went straight back to being a little emo kid. I was like, I'm just gonna take a little strut over, then I was like, strut straight back. Like, it's fine. I was like, I mean, I can still vibe with the whole stuff, but it's just not my whole bag. So and it was like really like eye-opening in like many ways. And
big
like
mood.
Big mood. Yeah, and like I'm not just talking like, you know, what we're all thinking, but like in terms of like I know it's like not a lot of people's bag, but like the soundtrack is incredible. The outfits are incredible. The scope, the concert in Death Valley, I mean, that's so cool, man. And then just the whole stuff, and I loved it. And then I read the books and stuff afterwards, and then I watched Interview with the Vampire afterwards. But Stuart Townsend's just so beautiful. And yeah, he gets it for that. And also I just felt that his Lestat was that perfect, egotistical king of the world. He can do whatever he wants. Literally just above everyone, arrogance. That was like, I just felt like he really portrayed that really well.
Which is ironic, because you say those things and you automatically think of Tom Cruise, and you think, oh, putting him, you know, when he and Brad Pitt were cast as Louis and Lestat, they were two of the biggest actors working at the time. And I think they did well, but I do agree with you. I think he does embody it more so than the Tom Cruise iteration, I'll be honest.
I think for the character from that particular novel, from that series, I think obviously, like, they have a lot of personal growth, I would say, all the way through that series. But really, I mean, he's just a teenage boy in that film.
Yeah.
Like, they might be thousands of years old, but he's just still, you know, living in his little Mick Jagger fantasies.
Who can blame him?
Yeah, and I loved it. And like, God, that soundtrack, guys.
It's good.
Amazing.
It's good stuff.
I listen to that every day when I walk to high school on my CD Walkman.
I love you so much.
Yep.
That's amazing. That makes me really happy.
Next.
Right, I'm trying to pick which one to go for. We're gonna go for Alucard.
Nice.
Castlevania.
Yep, he's on my list too.
Yeah. Because he's legit.
Legit.
Yeah.
Why? Other than the fact that you're a big weeb.
I was gonna have a go at you, but my coffee is sat on a stack of manga right now, so I can't have a go at you.
It's the literal truth.
I think what it is I really enjoy the whole, like, the son of the big bad Dracula man, and you can't make a series like that and cast the people with the sexiest voices.
I mean, just about to say, do you think any of it has to do with the fact that it's like they all sound so beautiful?
They do. I mean, it's Gaius Baltar from Battlestar Galactica, which is like one of my favourite TV shows anyway. So, you know, I could just sit there, like, just listen to it forever. But,
which is funny, because he's also Bridget's best friend in Bridget Jones.
He is, yes. He is.
And it's quite hard to, like, marry those up together.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I think what I like about Alucard is that he's very... It's that just arrogance and the whole, like, yes, I'm flawless, I'm fantastic, try me, Trevor. And I'm like, I just... okay. I just think it's that elegance and that slickness.
There's a lot of elegance and self-assurance and, like, a lot of that sort of untouchable attitude.
It's that, like, nonchalant aloofness. It's like, I don't need to prove that I'm better than you, because I know I am.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I aspire.
Yeah, but also, like, he's a sweetie pie.
Yeah, he's a baby. Yeah.
He's a little sweetie pie, because his mama was a good egg.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was not a witch. She was a scientist. It's like the world is regressing back to that right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, no, I do. Yeah. That whole series, I think, has a very special place in my heart. Creators aside. It's,
yes.
I've loved it for a long time. Video games legit as well, so. Yeah. He's on my list for that reason. For many reasons. Okay. I love him.
I
like his hair.
Yeah, his hair is amazing. And his outfits.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so talking of amazing hair and amazing outfits.
Is it me?
It is you! Oh, sorry, I've just told everybody that you're a vampire. Next up, I'm going to pick Viago from What We Do in the Shadows.
He's on my list too!
Me and Georgie have very similar tastes, guys.
We do.
Why we'd compile anything separately
is beyond me, actually,
yeah. So, notwithstanding the fact that he is Taika Waititi as well, who is literal perfection. Again, what a sweetie pie.
Yeah.
Like, I just love nice vampires. He's just had to have a nice time with his friends.
With his denim jacket, his little denim jacket with his jasmine and his flowers on it. I love
it. Yeah. could literally put him in my pocket and just carry him around forever.
Yeah. And I think it's weird, actually, because a lot of the vampires that you've picked, looking at it now, are not super stereotypical. They're like just nice people, just trying to get by, doing what they can do. And that's what's interesting about vampires, because they're just people with a bit of a weird dietary requirement.
Yeah. Just need a lot of extra iron.
But no, it's a good pick. Definitely a good pick.
Anyone else you want to throw in there? I think that's 4, but I don't think we've compiled our top 5 just yet.
No, I think one of mine is I'm gonna be the most basic.
Excited.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm excited.
The most basic.
Yeah.
Dracula, man.
Nice. Yeah, to be fair, is also on my list.
And what I love about what I was about to say, what I love is the fact there are so many different iterations of Dracula. Nice. Every single one's different. Every single one approaches it in different ways. I mean, Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's Bela Lugosi, isn't it? You know what I mean? And it was Bela Lugosi who spawned the accent for Dracula. Because obviously, of his heritage and his ethnicity, he did that, and everyone was like, okay, cool.
That's fine. Yep.
Like,
this is what I mean. So much of their makeup that is still, seen as canon, is what was just created by the first, people involved in creating these stories. What they decided. Yeah.
And that's what I think is really cool, because each different person brings a new element of what it is to be a vampire, which is why the Cullens were on my list. And again, they're made up. You can do what you want with them. But there are people that like to stick really strictly to what's already been established, which is great. But, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The legends have endured for quite some time. But,
there's always room at the table for new people.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
We make space.
You're not getting less of something because somebody else is getting a bit. There's enough, it goes around the whole thing. But I think the different iterations, the suaveness, the accent, the gowns. I think there's so much to be admired in every single different representation of Dracula. And I love it. I love it. Yeah. Love it. Yes.
Cool. Okay. I'm also going to go, particularly OG, and I'm putting Nosferatu in there.
Hello. Yeah.
Yep.
Good show. Incredible.
I really like me some German expressionism. So, always a good one to watch. And I just like everything about it. I like that everyone was creeped out by, everything, and it was all, everyone was having a stressful time, and they thought everybody might actually be dead, and, just a fan of that whole thing, really.
Yeah.
And I always really like the creepy shadow.
Yeah.
And he's like...
I love it. Yeah.
Like that.
The template for... I think we've both touched on Dracula and Nosferatu, the two templates for the ends of the spectrum. You've got the creepy and the sexy, and I think that's... Yeah.
I definitely think, that is it. It's the bestial and then the sexy suave.
You catch more flies with honey than vinegar,
These are our polars. Speaking of which, next up, I'm going to throw in Celine from Underworld.
Okay.
Who, not the best films, but the first one was Boss.
Okay.
And, again, I think it came out when I was, in my Queen of the Damned vibe.
That phase.
And I was like, it's so goth. Oh my god. She's got, new rocks on and, a leather coat. Oh, it's exciting. Everybody's dressed like they've been to Cyberdog. Do you remember, the big Cyberdog shop in Camden?
That just, I got real, whiplash from that there.
Yeah. It just reminded me, it reminds me of the good old days where it was all, everyone from, Korn was doing the soundtrack and life was just a bit easier.
Yeah.
And she just, slices people in half and, kicks butt.
What's not to love about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also we had too many dudes on our list, so...
Yeah. I've got one dude and one lady next. So.
Okay.
But, speaking of leather coats, Blade.
Nice! Yeah. Love that.
Blade! Super cool. I mean, obviously leaning into my other interests, comic book wise, but I think that Blade is just... Is there a more badass vampire? Do you know what I mean? It's just... With his...
I mean, he's literally just like, I give no shits.
Yeah. And that opening scene with the rave and the blood.
The blood rave is so good.
It's so good. And Blade's just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Nah, fuck it. Sunlight and what? Don't know her. Bye. Yeah. Everything about Blade, I think, as a character, is... I just think, again, taking something that we thought we knew about vampires, can't go out in the sunlight and being like, actually, how are the turntables?
Funny you say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think Blade has to have a mention on the list as well.
Defo. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to throw in Akasha from Queen of the Damned also.
I obviously on my list.
Nice.
What am I? I'm only human.
Because like obviously she was boss. That was incredible. Like her aesthetic was legit.
I just wanted to get married in that outfit.
Yeah.
To her.
And I just to her, yeah. And I like the sort of like looking at like some vampire lore and like their hierarchy and like their sort of like royal family as it were. I thought that was really cool. But also I'm gonna throw in Drusilla from Buffy.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Because she was like a proper nut job and like she just does nothing for ages and then all of a sudden she's like genuinely like quite terrifying.
Yeah.
In her unhingedness.
I respect that. It's a good choice. Good choice. Yeah.
Right. Let us compile then our top 5.
Are we going to do our top 5 like joint or individually?
I think we got to do them joint. We got to agree on the top 5.
Okay. So, do you want to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah, I would say we start with number 5, which I would say should be Alucard.
You know what? I was looking at it on my notepad. Yeah.
Okay, we'll give him spot number 5.
Yep.
Number 4. Blade? Yeah, I can go with that.
Yeah, I think Blade he deserves a spot in the top 5.
Okay. So Blade at number 4. Number 3, I would say I want to put Lestat at number 3.
Okay. I think again, if you're talking about vampires, Lestat needs to be included.
Yeah. Okay, number 2, I'm torn between 1 and 2 being well, I mean, I think number 2 can be Dracula in all his iterations.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, is Dracula.
Yeah. I mean, he's the OG, but it doesn't mean he's the best.
No, exactly. It doesn't matter who did it first, it matters who did it best.
Yeah.
Which is why Edward Cullen is number 1. No, as much as I love him and would die for him, he does not deserve to be number 1. Please don't hear this Robert Pattinson and judge me for it. Yeah.
Okay, who are you nominating for your top spot?
In terms of best vampire, I don't know, because it depends on who are you thinking?
I think I'm leaning towards Nosferatu just because they were like, but again, just because they're the OG doesn't mean they're the best. So I sort of feel like I want to put Nosferatu and Dracula as like joint second.
Like a swipsy swapsy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then I think I'm going to say as my top favourite vampire, I'm going to say Viago.
I do love him.
Yeah.
And I think there's something incredibly charming about waiting eternally for your love. And I think it's one of my favourite films, What We Do in the Shadows. And what it does better than any other film is they're just fellas trying to get by.
Yeah.
And I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Edward Cullen is
he gets honourable mention.
Oh, is that all I get? Honourable mention. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well,
there are vampires.
There are vampire choices. So we're gonna move on swiftly to the werewolves.
The Awoos.
They are woos. So there's going to be less a woo chat because werewolves give me the willies.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna love
I don't
them.
really watch a lot of werewolf telly. So in my list, I have the non-swearwolves from What We Do in the Shadows.
Amazing. Love it.
I mean, they were in it for like 5 minutes and they were already like show stealers.
But they're like, it's that lumberjacky look, isn't it? With the
Yeah.
friggin' puffer jackets and the plaid, and that's what, for some reason, vampires as like sexy goths, and then werewolves as like lumberjack bros. And it's just perfectly encapsulated. You think of a werewolf, think of a lumberjack.
Yeah, I think it works really well. And I'm forever sad that they've put werewolves on hold,
Yeah.
but hopefully one day.
One day.
I'm going with all of the dog soldiers.
Nice.
Werewolves.
Yeah, just all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Because it scarred me so badly as a child.
Yes.
So that has to be in my list.
Yes.
What have you got down?
I obviously had the werewolves, not swearwolves. Ginger from Ginger Snaps.
Nice, yeah.
I think there is so much to be said. As with every single horror trope, there is so much to be said. I'm trying to cover the paint blob on the wall in the background, but it's not working. There's so much to be said about the psychology and the representation and metaphor of what things can mean. And I think the whole unleashing the beast of, female puberty and unleashing the beast of becoming a woman.
Yeah.
Just love that film. Great. So Ginger from Ginger Snaps.
Yeah.
And then my ultimate favourite werewolf from one of my favourite films, not just horror films, one of my favourite films ever, is David Kessler from American Werewolf in London.
Nice.
I have always loved that film. I adore it. And I think it's so... I was going to say no spoilers, but it's been out for a long time. So
It's been out for
not seen
literally
it.
a million years. So
It's
if you
not,
haven't
it's your
watched
own
it,
downfall.
Shame on you.
Yeah. I think the sequence of him turning into a werewolf, I know you hate it, with an unbridled passion. I love it. I think the way they filmed it for when it was filmed was fantastic.
Especially for the limitations that they would have faced at the time.
Yeah.
It's
it's body horror, it's I love it.
Yeah, that's why I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got a sad ending, and not enough films these days have sad endings.
Oh, that's very true. Yeah.
It's always like,
really
and they were
interesting
redeemed.
point.
And I'm like, no. And
Things
I love
aren't
that.
always tied in a bow, so
Yeah.
we can have some bad endings. That's fine.
So David Kessler, and horror comedy is one of my favourite things. That's why I think we spoke so much about What We Do in the Shadows. It's a funny film, and it's tragic and it's sad and it's funny, and I just think he's a perfect American werewolf. And
Nice.
yeah, my ride or die for werewolves.
Okay. I also have Scott McCall from Teen Wolf.
You have a go at me for being a weeb. You're like a little teenage fangirl.
I am. It's true. Because yes, I am talking about the new show and not the original one. So, bye street cred.
Rip.
Not asked. It's boss. It's so shit that I was like, this is so good. But even though we're not talking about him, and I'm going off on a tangent, there's a later series where Styles, who's now named, I cannot remember.
Not
Thomas?
Tyler Posey. No. The other
Tyler
guy.
Posey's Scott McCall.
Oh.
I'm sure it's Dylan something or other.
Dylan. Oh, fuck. Sorry, can I say fuck?
You can.
Dylan Green.
No.
Dylan.
Someone help us out. Dylan O'Brien. Yeah,
O'Brien. Who the fuck's Dylan Green?
So,
I don't know.
Don't know. He is he plays the main sort of he's really, really, really focused in this particular season. And it's incredible. I would have easily been give that boy an Emmy nomination because the physicality of his portrayal of a descent into madness and all this other stuff is really impressive for a show like that. It's really good. Not asked. It's gotten called True Alpha. It's fine.
Yeah.
True Alpha. And also Van Helsing. I don't give a shit. One of the best films of all time.
It is.
Yeah, it is. There's not even the
L'Oreal werewolf with his long black hair.
Oh my God. One of the best werewolf transformation scenes when he is like ripping handfuls of flesh off and like crawling up the wall.
Yeah.
Anna Valerius's brother, when he climbs up the wall while it's like shredding his flesh. Amazing! What a great. I'm gonna watch that later.
I literally,
don't even care.
that film,
Yeah,
there are some films that were absolutely wronged when they were released, and Jennifer's Body, you all know how
Body.
I feel about that. Van Helsing is one of them. That film's fucking great. It's so campy and excessive, but actually executed really well and really aesthetic.
Also, we don't have enough films that are like that anymore.
No! Hansel and Gretel tried it and it failed.
Hansel and Gretel was a crime.
Yeah.
Gretel and Hansel, on the other hand, was a fun time.
I haven't watched that.
It's a fun time. It was like kind of like watching a Marilyn Manson video. It was
nice. Okay.
Yeah, it was like being back at like watching Kerrang. I was vibing it. Okay, so super quick then. Top 5 werewolves.
Forgot to mention him before. And it's a really difficult thing for me, because she's the fucking Antichrist. But I have literally read every single piece of Remus Lupin fanfiction on the internet. That's on camera now. Sorry.
No, to be fair, yeah. That scene also in
still gives me the willies.
Prisoners of Juilliard.
No, I want to hear you say Prisoner of Azkaban.
Prisoner of Azkaban, the third one, where he turns into the werewolf outside the big tree. It's
incredible.
Very good. It's very good. Obviously, like, we do not agree with J.K. Rowling, but that transformation is still boss.
And I think I'm just a sucker for like soft boys.
My only issue, because is he represented slightly differently in 2 films, or is he always like a big snouty werewolf?
He's represented like snouty, hairless thing.
Yeah, Limmy.
So you hate it.
Yeah, so I hated it.
And that bit when they're in the forest.
Because there's a big dog at some point, or is that just a big dog?
Are you thinking of Sirius? I think you might be thinking of Sirius Black.
Oh yeah, he's a dog as well, isn't he? Oh.
Puppy. The puppy. Like, there's the bit when Harry and Hermione are in the forest behind a tree.
You can tell which of us has ever watched or read the books and films properly,
it's at the point now where I'm actually considering getting my Harry Potter tattoo covered up because I hate J.K. Rowling that much. You know, it's like, it's fair. What has become. However, it's one of those things, like, it's a massive part of your childhood, and it's... Yeah. But the films, when they're in the forest hiding behind...
And she doesn't know woo.
Yeah. And then he's like creeping around behind them. Still scares me. And I'm at this big age, you know. But
this big age.
I think it's just like he's a soft boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, I'm a werewolf. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's on my list too.
Okay.
Fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Put that out there.
Okay, so I'm gonna say at number 1 for me, the best werewolf transformation and my favourite looking is the Van Helsing one.
He's a handsome werewolf. Werewolves
because
aren't
he's like wolfy.
It's like, there's a better not awakening a thing in me. Like,
It didn't at all.
No, same.
Opposite of that for me. I was like, no, get away, you foul beast. Get the water spritzer, get the hose.
Holy water.
Yeah, in a big way. Yeah, that's my number 1. I'm going in the opposite direction to when we went last time, but my number 1.
Okay. For me, my number 1. My number 1's David Kessler for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we can award joint ones for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2, I would say, is the Werewolves.
Werewolves, yeah, beautiful. Loving it.
Number 3, I'd put in the Dog Soldiers.
Okay, yeah.
Number 4, you want to go for the J.K. Rowling werewolf?
I want to put Remus Lupin... I arguably would put Remus Lupin above Dog Soldiers. But that's just me.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with it.
And I think Ginger needs to be on there as well.
Ooh. Yeah, actually, I think I would put Ginger at number 2.
Number 2? Okay.
Ahead of the Werewolves. I'd forgotten we mentioned her, yeah.
So we're going to go for David Kessler, Van Helsing.
Yeah. Ginger.
Yep. Werewolves. Remus Lupin, Dog Soldiers.
Yeah.
I think we're cool with that.
I think that sounds good. Okay. Yeah. We talked around it.
And Jacob
but we
Black
got...
from Twilight.
Oh, sorry, show's finished.
There's
We're off the
technical
air.
difficulty.
Beep, emergency broadcast. Yeah, so we went round to some houses, but we got there in the end.
We did.
These have been our top 5s. Top 5 vampires, top 5 werewolves.
Yes.
Let us know what yours are.
And how
if
much
you
you disagree
agree.
with us.
Yeah, if you don't agree, that's fine.
I'm going to get a lot
Don't
of hate on
be a
this.
dick. We always enjoy a spirited debate, so tell us. Tell us what you're into, tell us what you feel. And we'll be back super soon. Yeah, be good.
Yeah.
Be safe. Don't go out on a full moon.
Unless you're into it.
Unless you're into it, unless that's what you're after, then good luck on your journey, sir. Alright, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Adios.